This next cojones goes to a man who's dear to my heart for standing up for stand-up. When dozens of Netflix employees walked out over Dave Chappelle's reckless decision to perform comedy on his comedy special. CEO Ted Sarandos could have pulled the special and replaced it with more episodes of Who Wants to Watch Koreans Get Killed. But instead, he reminded his Netflix employees that comedy exists to push boundaries and told them if you'd find it hard to support our content breadth, Netflix may not be the best place for you. So, for making the phrase, don't let the door hit you in the never sound better, this is for you, Ted.
You know, in today's cultural climate, saying the wrong thing, or even daring to make a joke, can get you torched faster than a Twitter thread gone viral. And that's exactly what Bill Maher has been hammering home lately. Love him or hate him, the guy has made a career out of poking holes in hypocrisy, especially the kind that hides behind hashtags and fake outrage. And this time, he's coming for the self-appointed guardians of morality, Hollywood's woke elites, Twitter mobs, and college students who think being triggered is a personality trait. Now, here's where it gets interesting. Maher decided he's had enough of Hollywood's fake resistance, the constant virtue signaling, and the never-ending cancel culture witch hunts. So, instead of just ranting, he thought, why not make an award show? Not for the usual crowd that gets Oscars for crying on camera or Golden Globes for pretending they care about climate change on the red carpet. No, this one would be for the rare few who actually stood up to the mob, the ones who didn't delete their tweets, didn't bend the knee, and didn't beg for forgiveness just to stay relevant.
So that was the point of the evening. How do we take a stand against cancel culture? And I suggested, since we were mostly all in show business, that we start an award show to honor the brave people who have fought back. Well, I gotta tell you, the idea was met with great enthusiasm by everyone. And in short order, different people were suggesting the ways that their varied talents could be put to use. And then, of course, being Hollywood, nothing happened. But it's still a good idea, so I'm gonna do it right here, right now. And not only that, we're gonna do it every year.
Sounds crazy, right? But think about it. Isn't that what we're missing? Real courage, real backbone. Not the kind that gets you applause at the Vanity Fair after party, but the kind that makes people actually respect you. Take J.K. Rowling, for instance. This is a woman who literally created a cultural phenomenon, sold millions of books, built a billion-dollar empire, and inspired an entire generation to read. And yet, what is she now? Public enemy number one of the woke mob. Why? Because she had the audacity to suggest that maybe, just maybe, being a woman is more than lipstick and pronouns. Shocking, right? Suddenly, the same people who grew up idolizing Harry Potter turned around and declared the woman who wrote it a bigot. Cancel her. Burn the books. Delete her existence from history. It's like living in a modern-day witch trial, except no.
But there's no getting around the fact that what was on the mind of the liberals that night in Brentwood, or wherever we may have been, was that the most powerful witch hunters now were coming from Twitter, the Ivy League, and the progressive left. J.K. Rowling used to be a villain to the right because she wrote books about witchcraft. Now she's a villain to the left because she has the crazy belief that there's more to being a woman than pronouns and lipstick.
And Rowling isn't alone. Elon Musk was once Silicon Valley's darling, the genius who was going to save the planet with electric cars and rockets. The moment he dared to say something that wasn't pre-approved by the progressive playbook, boom, overnight villain. Joe Rogan, same thing. He was the cool, edgy podcaster progressives loved until he asked the wrong questions, and suddenly he's some sort of dangerous misinformation peddler. And then, of course, there's Maher himself, a liberal firebrand for decades, but now he's considered an outsider by the very crowd that used to cheer him on. What's the pattern here? It's loyalty. As long as you conform, you're accepted. The second you deviate, you're out. That's the real brutality of cancel culture. It doesn't care what you've done, who you've helped, or what you stand for. Step out of line even once, and they'll treat you like you never existed. So, Maher said, enough. Let's start celebrating the people who actually show a little courage. And the first award he hands out goes to Martha, __, president of Cornell University. Now, if you've been paying attention to college campuses lately, you know they've basically become daycare centers for adults. Students want trigger warnings before lectures, as if college, the place you're supposed to go to expand your mind, is suddenly too dangerous for ideas.
Our first award goes to the president of my alma mater, Cornell University, Martha Pollard. This month, students there demanded trigger warnings before all the lectures in case any of the adult subjects you specifically went to college to learn about came up. And Martha said, yeah, no, we're not doing that. She didn't cave in or hire a new dean of sensitivity. She just said, no, college is for introducing you to new ideas, not for kissing your ass and making you feel wonderful and always right.
Imagine that. You pay $70,000 a year to avoid discomfort. But Martha, __, wasn't having it. Students demanded warnings, and she flat out said, no. No new dean of sensitivity. No safe space for every uncomfortable thought. Just no. College is for learning, not coddling. And you know what? That one word, no, is more courageous than half the Hollywood speeches we've heard in the past decade.
You're thinking of brunch with your parents. I'm just amazed at how this generation can simultaneously be too sensitive for anything distasteful and somehow also so into eating.
And Maher nails it. If more universities had that kind of backbone, we'd be raising leaders instead of fragile ideologues who collapse at the slightest challenge. Think about it. This generation prides itself on being edgy, liberated, and unapologetically bold. They'll post the most outrageous, degrading stuff on TikTok for likes. But if you say something that doesn't fit the script, it's outrage, tears, and demands for cancellation. How do you reconcile that? Next up, Trader Joe's. And, oh man, this one was hilarious. For years, Trader Joe's has been selling quirky products with names like Trader Jose's for their beer. No one cared. Nobody was offended. But then one teenager on Twitter decided, hey, that's racist. Suddenly, there's a petition. The mob is ready. Everyone expects Trader Joe's to fold, issue a long apology, and maybe rename it beverage from unspecified region.
Our next award goes to the place where many Cornell grads will be working next year, Trader Joe's. Trader Joe's, who for years have been selling a line of ethnically themed products, trading on the name Joe. For example, they have Trader Jose's beer. So, of course, one teenager on Twitter heard the word Jose and said it was racist, and then there was a petition, and then Trader Joe's management did the right thing. They burnt down all their stores and killed them. No, they didn't. They said, "F off, you oversensitive little sh."
But Trader Joe's, they didn't play the game. They told the mob, no, these labels aren't racist. We're not changing them. We don't make decisions based on petitions. Mic drop. And guess what? Nothing happened. Customers didn't stop shopping there. The brand didn't collapse. The mob screamed for about 48 hours and then moved on.
Get a life and a sense of humor and released this statement. We disagree that any of these labels are racist, and we do not make decisions based on petitions. You see how easy it is? So to the home of the 19-cent banana, here, have some nuts.
And that right there is the lesson. Cancel culture has no real power unless you hand it to them. If you stand your ground for just a couple of days, their outrage fizzles out because they've already found the next problem to scream about. That's what Maher's been saying all along. Stop apologizing. Stop groveling. Stop letting people weaponize fake outrage to control you. Because, at the end of the day, the mob doesn't want an apology. They want submission. And once you give it to them, they'll just keep demanding more. Now, Maher didn't stop at universities and supermarkets. He turned his sights on Hollywood itself. And let's be real, Hollywood is ground zero for virtue signaling. This is the same crowd that swore they'd leave America if Trump became president. Remember that? Miley Cyrus, George Lopez, Eddie Griffin, all promising to pack up and go. Yet 4 years of Trump went by, and guess what? They're still here, still sipping champagne in Beverly Hills, still walking red carpets, still cashing checks. Not a moving truck in sight.